Now, it's been quite the week for Meghan Markle. She's been accused of merchandising her children, making money from clothes, called adrift on facts and reality, released a trailer for her podcast, and it's 5 years since Megxit. Where in the near catastrophic car crash of a week do you want to start, Bronte?
That question is the equivalent of one of those absolute Whopper burgers. I literally don't know where to bite first. Where should we start? Okay, well...
Should we start with Graydon Carter? So this is the former editor of Vanity Fair. And he was talking about an interview in 2017 that Meghan did with the magazine. It was a front page cover. And I think he said that she is adrift on facts and reality. Is that an accurate description?
Well, it came after he explained that she seemed to be a bit put out. I think the word was challenged because the reporter was obviously asking about the fact she was dating Prince Harry. That had come out less than a year earlier. They went on to get engaged a couple of months later. It's the reason she was in the magazine, let's be real. The Suits was popular, but she's an ensemble cast member. And so she was a little put out. They weren't talking about her charity work instead. And so for him to then say she was a bit adrift from reality, I think is a fair assessment because obviously that's what the conversation was going to be and went on to be and what the cover was. So, look, I will say this happened in 2017, so some years ago. Can't be helpful for her, given the start to the year that she's had, to have someone else, though, kind of going back over something and criticising her publicly like that.
It's not the first time, though, Arthur, is it, that it's maybe been pointed out that she may be bending the truth a little bit? I mean, if you remember...
I think the editor, if the editor didn't know who she was, I mean, the editor of a magazine like that would pretty know most people are, and he didn't know who she was, and it was only in the magazine because she was dating Prince Harry. And he got a fabulous picture of the front there. I mean, whoever shot that, congratulations, you look superb. But... she apparently said she wanted to talk about her charity work. Well, no, he didn't. He wanted to talk about her relationship with Prince Harry. So, she nothing to moan about. She got great publicity, and she was unknown. I never heard of her when I first heard she was linked with Harry. I never heard of her. No one I knew had heard of her. No one in my family had heard of her. She was a complete unknown, like a film I've just seen, and it was. I think she was lucky to get that publicity. I mean, and that's what she always sought, publicity. She wanted to show what a great actress she was. The thing is, it was just, she was lucky to get that, and then moaning about the fact they never talked about her charity work. Well,
Well, I think the idea was that she wanted it to be about philanthropic work, which is a very difficult word to say, by the way, philanthropic work that she was doing, but the researchers of Vanity Fair couldn't actually find evidence that there was the amount of philanthropic work that she alleged. But it's just these comments that just stick with me, adrift on facts and reality. If we look at other things, I mean, she claimed that she got married in the back garden of Frogmore Cottage by the Archbishop of Canterbury. I remember she's given interviews where she said that she met a cast member from The Lion King who said that they celebrated her wedding in the same spirit as when Nelson Mandela was freed from prison. And she also spoke about a cabin crew member. I seem to remember doffing their hat to her and saying thank you for all the service to the country. I mean, she does have a history of tall stories.
Let's start with what's lighting up royal headlines. Meghan Markle launching a shopping page that features affiliate links for $1,000 dresses and $300 sandals, complete with commission earnings. That's right. The Duchess of Sussex has officially become a lifestyle influencer. Gone are the days of suits and speeches. No, it's about curated wardrobes and clickable links. And the timing? Sketchy. Meghan posted a rare photo of Archie and Lilibet right before the launch, raising eyebrows about whether she's now using her kids for brand leverage. In a stunning reversal, former Vanity Fair editor Graydon Carter, once an ally, says Meghan Markle is adrift from facts and reality. This comes from her infamous 2017 cover shoot, where she allegedly complained they didn't highlight her charity work. But Carter now admits, researchers couldn't even find that much charity work. She wanted to be treated like Princess Diana, but came with zero receipts.
It's kind of like whenever you watch Hollywood stars do those talk show interviews and stuff, and they have those great anecdotes. And I don't mind that they're softening the edges of it a little to make a great story, but the problem is when you become a high-profile person in the royal family, facts matter and the truth matters, and particularly when you're talking about historical events. And I think that's where the real issue comes in. So I do believe, adrift from reality was, given those examples especially, not an unfair summary of it.
Oh, she said that when she had this blind date with Prince Harry, she had no idea who he was. Well, she said when she was asked to curtsy, she'd never done that before. You know, every girl knows how to curtsy. They do it as kids. You know, I mean, it's just not true. You know, she as Bronte just listed a few others there. You know, it's just this woman just exaggerates things, and the fact is she was only ever in Vanity Fair because she was having, you know, seeing Prince Harry, and she looked like she was, you know, she grabbed him, and she was, and that's the reason, and she should be grateful for that.
So is this comment from Graydon Carter, as I say, is the ex-editor of Vanity Fair, but a very well-respected journalist. Is this comment, is this just stating the obvious, or is it hugely damaging to Meghan Markle?
I would say that off the back of, I mean, you go back 2017, she's on the cover. It's a very gushing piece about Meghan. We then go to January this year and Vanity Fair released that tell-all sort of article that was very damaging to her with the bullying allegations resurfacing and giving this idea of her and Harry being a bit directionless in business. I think it's not the turning point, but it's certainly unhelpful because it's a big US publication that she would have traditionally been favoured by, and now it just kind of indicates again, you know, I know he doesn't work for them anymore, but he did for many years, decades. And so it's again just that idea that she's kind of fallen out of favour.
Now, Graydon Carter should have been an ally of Meghan. That's someone that she would have sought approval from, because even Vanity Fair editor. Another person that my understanding is she sought friendship with and approval from is Gwyneth Paltrow. I think in many ways she's modelled a lot of the work that she's done over the last 6 months to a year on Gwyneth Paltrow and her Goop. Very, very famous and very, very successful.
I think Gwyneth Paltrow is famous because of Shakespeare in Love, for which she won an Oscar. And Meghan's famous for just marrying a prince. That's the difference. One, you know, and she was very established. And Gwyneth Paltrow, I think that thing thing she launched is worth millions now, and it's followed greatly. But whether Meghan, with, you know, a new podcast and this show she's done, In Love, and whether that takes off, I don't know. But there's, you know, she's got 2.5 million followers on Instagram, so you know there'll be a lot of people buy the clothes she wants to help sell. And I think the clothes are pretty boring and very expensive, what they are. But people, you know, people think, oh, Meghan wore this, I'm going to buy it, you know. And it's the same with our princess here, Catherine. I mean, everything she wore sold out. In fact, she's recently stopped giving out who made the clothes and anything to do with the clothes. It's almost like she got a tip that what Meghan was going to do and she wasn't going to do the same. But in fact, you know, when Catherine wears an outfit, I mean, sort of stunning in it, I mean, it does sell out. I mean, it's just a matter of fact. So whatever Meghan puts on that site, whatever clothes she wears, a pair of sandals for 300 quid or a dress for $1,000, people will buy it and she will get a rake off from that. And it's a business. But the fact is, you know, she's trying hard to make you know, because obviously her sort of podcasts were not very great, and the movie she made, the videos she's made are not that great. Maybe she'll do well selling clothes, but who knows? I think she, you know, she can't compare herself to Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow was a magnificent actress and well known and did it all on her own. You know, she never needed marry some famous person. She married a very famous person. She married a band leader, Chris
Martin from Coldplay, and her parents are very famous. I will say Gwyneth Paltrow is a Nepo baby, but has done very well.
Yeah, great actress, yeah.
This segment was particularly brutal. The panelists suggest Meghan is copying Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop brand, down to the minimalist aesthetic and wellness-adjacent content, but without the credibility. Let's face it, Gwyneth Paltrow is an Oscar-winning actress and built Goop from the ground up. Meghan, she's famous for marrying Harry, then left the royals, and is now trying to turn that into a luxury shopping empire. Even the podcast feels like a polished TED Talk with zero soul.
The Gwyneth Paltrow one I'm in two minds about, because, I mean, we've spoken about this on the show. Clearly, you know, you have a vision of what, if you're launching a new brand, you have people you'll draw inspiration from. And there's no doubt that Meghan would have considered Gwyneth Paltrow's very successful empire, I think it's worth $200 million. She would have considered that as a sort of, you know, template of what could be possible for her.
Arthur touched on it earlier, and this is a story that I'm struggling to get my head around. Although I've written about it this week, I still can't quite understand. Meghan is... Can someone explain to me what's actually happening? Meghan is sharing links to clothes that she likes, and then if those clothes are bought, she makes money off them?
So it's an affiliate link. I think it's linked through Instagram. I believe it's a program that is actually part of Instagram's business, which is the things that are posted on her page, the outfits she's wearing in those clips, they are then linked. So if you're watching, if you go to Meghan's page and you think, wow, I've got to buy this shirt and buy this, and it's all there on her page, you're then able to just click on this one link that has everything there, that then you click through to the fashion brand or wherever, and you can buy it, but then Meghan will get a cut out of that if you purchase it via that link. You still look just as confused.
I'm still very confused.
Shopping is a very big,
why.
it's a big thing, it's complex. But yeah, so she gets a cut of it. If people go to her page and look for the clothes she's wearing through that link, she will get a cut of that, which is a very standard practice with influencers and celebrities.
What do you think, Bronte? Do you think she'll make money out of that?
You said it before. I think. Look, you're not going to click on it if you don't like Meghan and if you don't like what she wears. And there's certainly a population of that group. However, a lot of people do. So, they're the ones that are going to be clicking on it. And she does have a big fan base that are very passionate. So, and that's who she's obviously appealing to here. So, I don't know. I don't know how much of a cut they get. That's a crucial element.
10% I read somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, if they're successful, well, she's had a go at it, and you've got to give her sort of credit for that, in my view. It's not such a... if everybody does it, why shouldn't she?
It's also just the final sort of part of that transformation into an influencer. They all do that.
But then she's supposed to be a duchess of the royal family. Should they be doing that? I don't know.
But I mean, she's been criticised, I think. Why? Is it mainly because she posted that image with Lilibet and Archie just a couple of minutes before?
I think that you've just touched on it then as well. There's this real identity crisis. It's like, who is she?
Yeah.
She didn't want the kids to be on display in the royal family, which I think a lot of parents understand to a point. But then she's launched the Instagram and she's using the kids, which again is her prerogative, but it just kind of falls out of step with what she said previously. And then, there's her monogram with the crown on it, but then she's kind of an influencer, which she has the right to earn money, but it just looks a bit jarring going, having the royal stamp on it. So, I just see it all as a bit of an identity crisis. I think that's at the core of the issue.
After the Queen died, she named her son Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. I mean, she got that title for those children. I don't know. She's in a strange world, really, because she's using that title because it's not from a great acting career. She's known. It's for marrying into the royal family, and she's using that. But you know what? The videos they made, they got millions for that. The book, they're just, I suppose, looking for more and more ways to make lots of money.
Well, that has been branded tacky, the fact that you're just looking at ways to make money and putting pictures of your children on Instagram.
It's probably tacky here, but in America, it's not probably the same. I mean, in America, it's all money-driven, everything. But here, it's, we probably think it's a bit tacky and probably don't think it's the right thing to do. But in America, maybe, if Gwyneth Paltrow is doing it, Meghan's doing it, and they do well, probably get some other film star come along and do something similar. But, I'm not a big fan of Meghan's, but, she's getting off and backside and doing something with her life. She's trying to make a go of things, and whether it succeeds or not, she's had a go. Now, I saw that. I said last time I was on the show that, I watched the first one of that series about the cooking, and it was boring. For me, it was very boring. But for some people, it might have been really interesting, and they couldn't wait for the next one and the next one. And probably in America, we're not looking at it through their eyes. That's probably, they think that's a good thing. She's out there, she's working hard and making money. What I worry is, where's Harry in all this? We don't see him doing anything. He's not involved in any of it. He just seems to be wandering around, probably feeding his chickens. I don't know what he's doing all day long, but she seems to be beavering away. And for any, as I say, I'm not a fan of hers, but at least she's doing something with her life.
This was a powerful cultural insight. What's seen as tasteless in the UK might be seen as entrepreneurial in the US. Meghan's strategy: monetizing her royal title, selling style tips, promoting her own looks, is divisive depending on where you are. Arthur Edwards puts it perfectly. In Britain, she's using the monarchy for profit. In America, she's just another mompreneur with a famous last name. Now we get into the content shift. Meghan's new podcast Confessions of a Female Founder aims to position her as an advocate for working women and ambitious mothers. But here's the problem. It all feels calculated and polished to the point of inauthenticity. As Bronte puts it, we don't get real Meghan. We get the media-trained, camera-ready version, and that doesn't inspire. It distances.
Yeah.
Is this a really good point? I mean, this moves on to the next
I agree
issue.
completely, by the way, yeah.
The next issue is her podcast. And if we're going to give her credit, and I think it's only fair sometimes, to just not attack, but if you do something that we think you deserve credit, of course we talk about it. So is it the case that this Confessions of a Female Founder is her podcast? It's talking about entrepreneurs, it's trying to elevate women, it's talking about, I think it was called it Girls Talk, and talking about advice that turns small ideas into billion-dollar businesses. So we talked about her being a social media influencer. Is she now, with this podcast, an entrepreneur? And is that something that we should give her credit for as like a working mum, for instance?
Well, I certainly will listen to it. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listened to one this morning on the radio about James Dyson and the success he had with his life and how he struggled for years before he became successful. And there's thousands of podcasts on there every day. So she'll just join another list of people doing it. But, she may have something interesting to say. And some of the people she brings along might be even more interesting. I've just seen how many people turn up. I don't know how many of her so-called friends she invited to the wedding are still her friends. You don't see them much with her. But we'll just have to wait and see. I think, she's going to do it. And there's nothing we can do about it except we can listen to it and whether we like it or not. We just have to see.
Monty, is the wife of Prince Harry setting up a podcast? Is she an entrepreneurial icon?
I think she would like to be from this point forward. It remains to be seen when we listen to it, how that goes. But I do think she's in a bit of a no man's land. People don't like to see laziness. People don't like to see, someone using their connections and coasting along. And in that regard, the fact that she's out there and working, and exactly like you said, working hard at building something. Some people like it, some people don't. But at the end of the day, she has to earn a living and she is trying. So even though I found her show boring myself, at least she made it. And at least she's doing a podcast now. And really, isn't that what we've asked for? People say they just want them to go away, but the reality is that they have to earn an income. So, if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. I'll certainly give it a go. I don't think it's going to reinvent the wheel. It didn't really excite me too much, but maybe it will. Maybe she'll showcase a bit more of personality and, we'll find out.
She's certainly good at it, when she presents things, and she does it beautifully, and she's good at it. I mean, we'll see what the podcast is. But the podcast will be, it's all about content. Just see if she's got much content to put, or get some famous people in, the tennis player, Serena Williams, and some of the other people, the Clooney's, maybe they might come, who knows? And it just might be just great, but we'll see. We've got to give it a chance. Give it a go.
Do we want to do any predictions for this? I mean, I think we all got a little bit tired and bored
Well, I feel like we're talking about it, really, Matt. You've got anything else to talk about?
Well, with this, specifically on this podcast, I mean, what do you think, Bronte? Do you think it will be a success? Do you think it will... Is it just there to boost her fame and to boost, put her all over the newspapers and in the press because they're undoubtedly going to write about it? Or is this... going to be a success rate? It
ties in with the other things that she's doing, so I understand it from that perspective. Maybe it will be empowering and it will appeal to the audience that it needs to. What I really hoped from it, but I don't know that we're going to see it, is the issue that was with Love Meghan for me, which was she's being so careful and polished at all times. You're not seeing a person that you can really connect with, and that's what she needs to do if you're creating content that is based around yourself and your personality. You need to showcase it. So hopefully that happens here. But from the teaser, I'm not sure, but maybe. Hopefully.
Okay.
This line hit hard. Where is Harry? While Meghan is out launching podcasts, selling clothes, and monetizing her image, Harry is nowhere to be seen. Not in her projects, not promoting her brand, just silent. The panel jokes he's probably just feeding chickens. And honestly, that might be true. Because this brand? It's Meghan only. The Sussexes may still share a last name, but they are not a unified brand. Whether you love or loathe her, one thing is clear. Meghan Markle is caught between two worlds. She wants royal prestige but influencer freedom. She wants privacy but posts her kids for clicks. She wants to be taken seriously, but tells tall tales that destroy her credibility. This is more than just a brand launch. It's an identity implosion, and the world is watching. Do you think Meghan is having an identity crisis? Is this strategy genius or just plain grifting? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like if you see through the brand, and subscribe for more sharp royal commentary and media breakdowns.